So I've made these a few times and a couple improvements were made along the way. So this is the traditional mouse trap using a 5-gallon bucket. Most of the items here are readily available that everyone has. So a 5-gallon pail, metal clothes hanger, a coffee can. You need a ramp made out of wood or another material, a drill, a 9/64 drill bit, a bolt cutter, pliers, measuring tape, 2 screws, marker, peanut butter, and of course safety glasses for when you're doing your cutting. Now I have a small bolt cutter, but for cutting through the metal clothes hanger you can use heavy tin snips, you can use a small saw. So the first step, have your can. You want to measure the diameter across is 6 inches in this case. So you just take half of that, kind of center yourself there and mark off the 3 inches. Okay, so you take your drill bit, again a 9/64 works for a metal clothes hanger. You're wearing your safety glasses at this time as well, just to be safe. And we'll flip it around. Again, measure and center and then do your drilling. So we'll mark off the 3 inches here and we'll make a little hole. Some people use a smaller coffee can or even a pop can or something. The smaller the can, the faster it's going to spin. I found these bigger cans, they spin slower, but they're pretty dependable. So the next step is to measure 1 inch down from where the handle connects to the bucket. The reason you do this is that area is symmetrical, so it's the same on either side. So you just want to measure down 1 inch and then do the other side as well. So drill through, ream it out a little bit, spin it around, do the same on this side, measure 1 inch down, take the handle out of the way for a minute, and make your mark 1 inch down from the center of that handle hole. You want to drill. Now sometimes when you're drilling you have to kind of line up your drill bit, and because it'll kind of skip around on you, so just be careful. Very easy to make though. Most people will have these items at home, and it's reusable, which is a good thing. So yeah, safety glasses, especially during this step, because you could have a metal piece flying. So here I have my bolt cutters. I'm going to cut off either end of the base of the metal clothes hanger, and that gives you enough length to get through a standard 5 or 6 gallon pail. We'll take the other side. Again, you can use something else to cut it. This makes it a little bit easier because it has a little more force to cut through. You can use even a type of coping saw or some other method to cut through, but this is what I had. These are the items I used. I've made a few of these traps and they are dependable. They work well. So here you just see I'm testing to make sure that that piece goes through okay. If it's too tight, you're going to have to remount that hole a little more. Now this is an improvement that I made as well, is to make a 90-degree bend in one end, and you'll see why that's useful later on. So here we have the can with the 2 holes drilled, and you can see I'm feeding through the clothes hanger wire into the hole, then all the way through the can, and with my other hand I can feel where it's coming through. You kind of have to poke hard and let it come through the hole, and then you can visually see where you're going through on the other side. Okay, so on the one side you're going to have a straight piece coming out, and on the other side you're going to have your 90-degree angle. So that 90-degree angle acts as a stop on the one side and also a handle to pull out that piece later on. I'll show you. So make sure it spins nice and freely. If there's any resistance, you're going to have to either re-drill your holes or make sure that it does work properly, because you'll see later on why it's important. So this is a hack that I came up with. I just have a children's eraser. Any eraser will do, but you just kind of put it on the one end and it acts as a stopper. So on the other side you have the 90-degree angle that you can use to pull out the the rod, and on this side this prevents it from sliding into the pail. Okay, the next step is to drill a couple holes in your wooden ramp. This ramp is used for the mice to access the top of the pail. So you don't want this ramp falling off all the time. So what I do is I drill 2 holes, I get a couple of deck screws, and I drill right through so they're sticking out the other side. You could use a couple of little L brackets and extend them out past the end of this ramp so they kind of hang on to the edge of the pail. But this is quick and simple and cheap. So once you drill through, you just want to check that you have at least, 3/4 of an inch. You don't need much, just as long as it grabs on the edge of the pail, which I'm showing you here. Okay, and that angle is not too steep. Don't worry, the mice fly up that thing like there's no tomorrow, so they're going after the bait, so it's not too steep. So get some peanut butter, and either a spoon or a paper towel is what I'm using here to smear it on, and I only smear the center part of the can. You don't want to do you don't need to do the entire can, because they're gonna jump towards that bait, and they don't really need the whole can covered. So some people will cover the entire can, but I don't feel that's necessary. So make sure it's coated all the way around, not just one side. It's also important that it's covered evenly all the way around, so it's not out of balance and it spins freely. So throughout these stages, make sure that it does spin freely for you. Now this is an optional step. Obviously, if people have a field nearby where they can release the mice after they fall into the bucket, that's fine. So I fill roughly about 5 inches of water in the base. So when the mice fall in, they can't be able to jump out, so their feet can't touch the bottom, and then they swim around. So here you see I've placed it in a corner, which is normally where you'd put something like that, away from everything else. For the purposes of this video, I put it close to a security camera that I have, so I could capture a bit of footage from overnight. So this is the next morning. It has rained, everything's kind of soaked, but let's have a look at the results. So you can see the ramp set up, and looks like we have had some success. So I take the rubber stopper, the eraser off, and I'm going to pull out the one side just so I can lift the can up. Okay, now if you were taking the can out to clean it, you would just pull the rod out from the other side with that little handle. Here's some footage from the previous night. So you can see the mouse is kind of checking things out. He's not satisfied, he runs down the ramp, but that bait is too tempting for him. Comes back, goes around the rim a bit, and it's hard to see, but he does jump on the can, and that's the end. So thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for the next video, and subscribe please. Thank you.